Before 1983, Chicago was in its post-Daily Times and wasn't the most accommodating place to minorities. They would fight with the whites a lot about social and economic status, but with the whites usually winning. When Henry Washington emerged in 1983, he was able to give a sense of pride to minorities with his extravagant speeches and peaceful protest. He had the leadership skills to make many minorities rise to give their voice and inspire a city, and he still has left a legacy on people's lives up to this day. Henry Washington was a big image for the civil rights movement in Chicago, with the buildings named after him and more minority-owned businesses due to him. Even though he didn't succeed in doing all the things he set out to do, the things he did do and the power of which he did overcome his setbacks and are what left his great legacy on this day. Henry Washington was born in Chicago on April 16, 1922, and died in Chicago on November 25, 1987 at age 65. He left high school before graduating, and in the early 1940s, he went to serve in World War II as an engineer. When he returned, he then decided he wanted to go to college. He earned a bachelor's degree from Roosevelt University in 1949 and went to get a law degree from Northwestern University in 1952. After finishing college, he decided to become an Illinois politician. In 1965, Washington became part of the Illinois House of Representatives. Many black leaders wanted him to enter the mayoral race in 1983. In 1970, he had his law license suspended for failure to perform paid legal work, and in 1972, he spent 36 days in jail after being convicted of tax evasion for not filing tax returns. Many men give up after going through tough times like this and having lots of negative publicity, but Hill wasn't the type of guy. He overcame negative publicity such as racial slurs and propaganda and kept on going. Henry Washington was persuaded to run for mayor by other black leaders when the next mayoral race came up in 1983. He was campaigning to reform and end city patronage. In a huge shock, he defeated current mayor Jane Bryan and Richard M. Daley, former-term Mayor Richard J. Daley's son, in the Democratic election. His Republican opponent, Bernard Epton, was one that was tough to go against. His famous slogan that he used was "Before it's too late," meaning to stop African Americans before they get the top jobs. Epton's supporters also had racial attacks on Henry Washington. On April 12, 1983, Washington was able to just barely beat Epton in the mayoral race and became the first African American mayor of Chicago. Once he had won the title as mayor, he still struggled. Many still disliked him. In addition, he had to deal with the council wars. City council controlled most of the 50 council seats, and a block of city aldermen was able to oppose his every move. Due to this, the first half of his years as mayor was not as successful as he hoped for them to be. It looked as if Henry Washington had hit his darkest hours, but that wasn't completely the case. There was a reason Henry Washington crafted a legacy as a mayor of the people. Henry Washington was a mayor of huge likability. He was able to unite people with his speeches and have minorities believe in themselves. His speeches were very enthusiastic and outgoing. A person from that time period said in an interview,
Harold Washington used to say that he would serve in this city as mayor for 20 years. And he said it so often with such enthusiasm that we all believed it.
He also managed to increase minority-owned businesses and made the Chicago government's shadiness more apparent to the people. In addition to all of this, Henry Washington tried to invite people's own ideas into the community of Chicago, and citizens were able to voice their opinions regarding the city budget. In 1987, Washington was re-elected, and things were looking better. This time he had more supporters and a block of aldermen behind him. Alas, Washington had a heart attack and collapsed at his desk in City Hall on November 25, 1987. Today, Henry Washington has been able to impact people in many ways. He won the liking of the lower class, opened up contracting for minority-owned businesses, gave a voice to Latinos, gays, and other Chicagoans that are being ignored, and altogether improved life for every citizen, including the lower class. He was a big activist and visionary who was able to give hope to minorities to the point where nothing could stop them. Now, minorities have more of an impact on the city of Chicago. They are blended in more with everyone else in the business world and have a voice in all political deals in Chicago. So overall, Washington was able to set hope for the future, make the city more optimistic, give give the citizens of this great city a voice, and most importantly, improve local life for small neighborhood groups. That is the biggest impact Terry Washington has on Chicago, and these are qualities we can all take from him. If mayors today work towards his goals, it makes Chicago a much better place. It is these great qualities of Harold B. Washington that honors him by renaming Loop College after him and naming the Harold Washington Library Center after him. These great traits are a traits of a leader who can inspire and impact the people around him.